gotta stop here for a second because I put cash in my pocket with the plan to stop at the bank to deposit it, and I'm not sure which pocket I put it in. By the way, hold up, I gotta put this music on pause. I cannot hear myself think. Okay, hey, I can hear myself think again. By the way, I'm planning on making a video soon on like best earplugs, best riding headphone strategies. But to give you guys a little preview, I'm testing some headphones right now that I'm a big fan of. Okay, is it in here? Oh, phew, it's in there. Okay, the cash is secured. I had one pocket that was open, one pocket that wasn't. I was like, crap, did I not zip up my pocket after putting that cash in there? Because otherwise, someone back there is gonna have a nice little birthday present. But nope, I got it. But yeah, if you want a little preview, the headphones that I'm using right now, pretty sure they're gonna be my #1 choice. I'll link them down in the description along with everything you need. They make a Bluetooth version, but I'm using the wired version just because I wanted it to be a little bit more streamlined. I didn't want to worry about charging. I saw some bad reviews on the Bluetooth ones as well, with them like stopping working, and I think the wired version is better. It's not that hard to connect something to your phone with a wire. If you just, even if you don't have a headphone jack, you can just get a little adapter, whether it be a a lightning adapter or a USB-C adapter. There we go. But yeah, I'll link those down in the description so you guys can check them out. Very solid choice. They're not as good as wearing like straight up really solid earplugs, but if you want something that you can still listen to music with, or podcasts, or whatever it may be, but still protect your ears a little bit and be able to hear the stuff, they're a solid choice. But anyways, that's not what today's video is about. Today, I am going over my review of the 2020 Yamaha R1 after 1 year of ownership. It's been a year since I bought this thing, and I got a lot to say about it, and I got some exciting news, so stick around if you like exciting news about motorcycles and really, really awesome sounds. We gotta get a daily 100 in here. And by the way, if you want some daily 100 merch, you got a few days left in the MT09 giveaway. You can check out the merch at Motonosity.com. The merch, and every $5 spent gets you an entry into winning that bike. Only until June 15th, so snag your merch now. We're starting to really solidly hit the 90s now. I think the high is 90, 91 maybe today, with a real feel of like 100 degrees. I think later this week it's supposed to almost hit 100 degrees. I spent the last week in Florida, so if you're wondering where videos were, I was at the beach getting my tan on. Man, I should have just gone up to the front. That's okay. That's what we'll do right now. Me, sir? No, I'm not lane splitting. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I promise I do have a lot to say about this bike. So if you guys are not familiar with the channel, if you're just coming across this video, I'm Motonosity. I've been making videos here on YouTube since January of 2012. So like 9 years, nine and a half, I don't know, math. But I had a 2009 R1 for the longest time. Bought it in 2013, sold it in like 2018 maybe. And after I sold that, I said that I would definitely get the new generation R1 after they did a mid-cycle refresh, and I waited and I waited and I waited, and I just got sick of it, and I was like, man, they are just never going to refresh this thing. And so I bought the 2020 S1000 because I also really, really wanted that bike. And now, because Yamaha decided, the next year after BMW came out with the S1000, that they were going to finally refresh the bike. Now I'm stuck with a 2020 S1000 and a 2020 R1 in my garage. I know, it's terrible. I have terrible first world problems, but I said I would do it, so I had to do it. I wasn't originally going to do it, but it had been a year since I bought the S1000, and I don't know, I just really wanted the bike. I missed the R1, I missed the crossplane, but I wasn't ready to get rid of the S1000, and I'm still not. I still got to get that paint job done. I'm working on it. Are there any cops around? Hopefully not. Hopefully there's not a cop at the front of this line. I don't believe there is. That is not a cop. R1 feels faster today. What is that? I keep forgetting that I did that sprocket change. Is compressed against the front of my helmet. Good lord. So yeah, I bought the 2020 R1, and I gotta say, it's not as good as the S1000, but it's still an incredible bike, and it makes up for it in a lot of ways. I don't mean to always compare the R1 to the S1000, but I have both bikes, and the S1000 is arguably one of the best super sports that you can buy right now, and so naturally I'm gonna compare it against the best of the best. And the fact that I pretty much split my time evenly, maybe even more so towards the R1 these days, says a lot about this bike. You know, my S1000 with the M package and the Select package came in around $24,000, and the R1 is what, 16? You know, it doesn't have cruise control, it doesn't have heated grips, it doesn't have a lot of the fanciest parts that the S1000 does, but it is a stupid fast bike that is a lot of fun to ride. And people always like to go on about character, and I don't give that as much weight as some people do. I think a lot of different bikes can have character in different ways. Everyone defines this character a little bit differently, and whether it be the sound of the bike, how it rides, I want my bikes to ride smooth, and I like them to sound good, and you can pretty much make every super sport ride and sound good. My S1000 has a really awesome, unique sound, and with that Austin Racing exhaust on there, it's a really raw sound that you could say has a lot of character. The R1 has the crossplane engine, and I think pretty much every exhaust you put on this bike sounds good. I got the SC project on here. Thanks Motivation for the hookup. You guys click the link down in the description. I guess a little commish whenever you buy stuff from Motivation, but they're a big sponsor for the channel. They provide all the parts, help us do some of these awesome builds. But yeah, I think my S1000 has a lot of character, but it's also a very refined machine. It's a very smooth riding bike, and I don't think character should necessarily be defined by the things that make a bike not good. I feel like sometimes people will say character in a way where they're referencing the areas of the bike or the car that fall short. It's not running in tip-top shape or as the finest technically, mechanically precise machine. But I don't think if a car or a bike runs really smooth and drives or rides well, that's a bad thing. So without rambling more about that, the R1 does have a lot of character in the way that I think people usually think of character on a bike, but it rides really well. It does. The quick shifter on it is pretty darn good. It's fast. I mean, it's a super sport. It's not S1000 fast, but it's fast, and it's a good looking bike. Plus it's very nicely supported in the aftermarket, because it's essentially the same bike that they've had since 2015 with some changes here and there, but for the most part there's tons of parts available. So if you're looking to mod this thing out, you got tons of stuff at your disposal. It's got a digital display, as pretty much every super sport has nowadays, but it's on the smaller end compared to other bikes, but it's not really an issue. It's just not a plus. Like on the S1000, that screen is massive, and so it's very visible. You always notice it, so it's pretty cool. This one is not going to be one where you're like, oh dang, that's a nice looking screen. It's just like, okay, there's the screen, tells me the info. I'm gonna go make a quick stop at the bank, and then I'll get back to you guys. I mean, it is a pretty freaking great looking bike. I I'm going for the full blackout look. By the way, look at that titanium coloration. Whew. You can't see it from this side. If I get way underneath there, you can see the hella blue. Oh yeah. Dude, that freaking pipe looks amazing. I do like this bike. I like it a lot. Doesn't have all the gizmos and gadgets of the S1000, but for nearly $10,000 less. Now, of course, that's compared to the M package. So if you're just getting a regular S1000 with nothing on it, then you're only talking, you know, 3. But of course, then you're not, you know, getting all the other features. But you can still have a bike that's, for all intents and purposes, just as fast. Grab my handy dandy Motonosity key tag and start her up. It's a great sounding bike. Great sounding bike. Alright, now let's get into the nitty-gritty with the big news. So, I made a video a while back that said that you should not buy this bike. And the reason in that video was the fact that you can't flash this thing. Over a year after this bike was released, still not unlocked. Until now, it's not available yet to the public, but Brand Tuning, who did the ECU flash on my S1000, they have unlocked this thing apparently, and are starting to work on really tuning this thing out. So the first thing that they did was remove throttle restrictions that it had from the factory, and then got to work on actual tuning. Results so far are very, very promising. But yeah, in that video, that was the biggest gripe that I had, because you know, you're buying a super sport that has all this potential and you really can't access all of it because it was locked down and it was taking so long to unlock. You could buy an old R1 and get almost the same performance or just buy an R1 of the same generation from, you know, any other year before 2020, so 2015 to a 2019, that can be flashed, and essentially get this bike unlocked. And so it was hard to justify buying this brand new bike if you really wanted to, you know, go all out and get every penny that you spent out of it. You just weren't going to be able to do so. And so I thought that there was, you know, better options. If you wanted an R1, get a you know, one that was a few years old, or heck, look at the other options that you have for super sports. That's not to say that it's not a good bike and that you wouldn't enjoy it, because you would, and I have. You know, mine's still not flashed or anything like that, and I love riding this bike, but I just don't think it's entirely justified to spend the money on a brand new motorcycle that you really can't completely unlock and get the full potential out of. I don't typically recommend buying new bikes anyways. You know, a lot of times I buy new bikes because it's my job and I'm making videos for YouTube, and you know, buying new bikes just makes sense in a lot of cases. You know, if I'm gonna get a brand new release of a bike, you have to buy new. But for the average person, I think it makes way more sense to buy a used bike. So unless you had a really, really, really good reason for buying a brand new 2020 R1, I just think it made more sense to buy a used one. Now it makes a little bit more sense, because you can fully unlock this thing. At least soon you will be able to. They haven't given full details on, you know, what they're going to be able to do and what they're getting out of it, but that's really, really exciting. I think there's a lot to really like about this bike. You know, if you're getting an R1, most of the time you know what you're buying, because for the most part it's got the same soul that it's had for, you know, 17 years. But if you really, really want a super sport, a leader bike, I've been really happy with this R1. It was exactly what I needed, or what I was looking for in a successor to the 2009 that I had. Let's go ahead and just fix this situation real quick. Okay, that's better. Sorry about that. Clutchless downshifting is like one of the most satisfying things ever. I know as this video lives on YouTube and time passes, people come across this video who are looking at this generation, this refreshed generation of R1 in a used capacity, and so prices will have gone down and you'll be able to get this bike a lot cheaper. And at that point, I'm very excited about what you will be able to buy. Now, thinking about this bike under $10,000 in a used capacity is very, very exciting. I have no idea what's going to be available in, you know, the new super sport market when this bike is under 10,000 used. You know, we got a lot of exciting stuff to look forward to. You know, I just did a first ride on the RR Fireblade, and that was an incredible experience. Even restricted, fresh off the factory floor, no mods. That thing was stupid fast, made it feel like my S1000. Getting on an unlocked, tuned version of that bike, good lord, sign me up. But if you're a Yamaha guy, if you're a big fan of the R1, I think you'll be happy with this bike. So if you got any questions, be sure to leave them down in the comments. I always try to, you know, catch stuff later on. I definitely catch stuff in the first 24 hours. Again, if you want to check out these headphones that I'm wearing right now, they got earplugs built in. I'll link them down in the description. If you want to get any of my merch and get an entry into winning the MT-09, every $5 spent over at Motonosity.com gets you into winning that. Otherwise, you guys have been awesome. I've been Motonosity. This has been a 1-year review on my 2020 Yamaha R1. Remember, life's better with horsepower. Keep life lived, and I will see you guys in the next one.